I don't know about that.
I've been said fucked him up. I've been said that.
Hear the shit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. No. That's, yeah.
Come on, bro. That's what I'm talking about. We already said
That's
that.
right.
He already said
That's
that
right.
I was fine.
But
It ain't his time. Brian
That's
said the
right.
same thing. It ain't his time yet. That's my thing.
Niggas can't come up to me and do the same shit that they can do with other niggas. Niggas don't do that with me. I would slap the piss out of niggas' face. Niggas know who to play with.
But that was also what I said. That his career is already there.
Niggas don't even really be saying my name. They be like, oh, I'm with everybody. I'm on everybody. I will stop everybody. Niggas say my name. Niggas say I knocked Terence Crawford out, nigga.
You ain't regular, Terence. We know that. You ain't regular. You ain't regular.
See?
well, I know me and Wallow tried you, nigga.
We won. We won,
nigga.
We won. I know martial arts. Let's change the sport. We can change the sport. And we're going to see what you're going to do then. I'm a martial artist. So I don't count if you knock me out. That shit don't count. It don't count. I got 13 belts. It don't matter if you knock me.
Terence Crawford just threw the entire boxing world into chaos. And somehow people are still acting like they didn't hear the explosion. But here's the real question nobody can ignore anymore. Is Crawford actually daring Jaron Boots Ennis into the one fight he secretly wants the most? And if Boots defeats Xander Zayas, will he finally stand in front of the cameras and call Bud out directly?
What do you think about that chatter about them actually, if they ever were to fight?
Crawford is a man, he showed it, throughout his career, and then, moving up to super middleweight and did what he did with Canelo, showed that he's, the best in the world, one of the best of all times. He doesn't need to prove anything else, man.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford. We've just got to go out and get the fights to show how great he is.
Everybody in boxing says they want the biggest fights in the sport, right up until the contract shows up. Then suddenly promoters forget how phones work. Managers start talking in riddles like they're protecting ancient secrets. And fans begin arguing online like civilization is collapsing in real time.
He would have stopped Boots Ennis, and this is a fight that we all wanted to see like a few years back, even before the Canelo fight, was even a thing, even before the Canelo fight was even a possibility or thought. So obviously everybody wanted to see Crawford potentially give Boots an opportunity, but he's really heated and animated about what he would have done to a Boots Ennis in a fight. I think at 147, yeah, Crawford would have cooked that boy. No offense to Boots. I like Boots. He's one of my favorite fighters, but Bud's experience and, his offensive pedigree is just different. He's on a different level. At this point in his career, you guys got to remember, Boots hasn't even reached his prime yet, in my opinion.
But somehow, every road in boxing right now keeps leading back to one man standing calmly in the middle of the madness, smiling like somebody who already knows how the movie ends. That man is Terence Bud Crawford.
And listen, man, we done already said we retired. We done already said we ain't got nothing left to prove in this sport. We done said that the money don't move us to go out there and box again. So why is y'all mentioning this Boots kid to us every time we pop out? We don't want to hear about no Boots. The only Boots we want to hear about is some Timberlands, some nice butters. Y'all really trying to get us to pop back outside. And I'm going to be real with you. I was never too strong on Terence Crawford. I thought Sean Porter could have beat him.
After years of debates, ducking accusations, Philly loyalty speeches, podcasts, screaming matches, and nonstop arguments about who really wants the smoke, Crawford finally flipped the pressure around. He basically threw the challenge directly at Boots Ennis and said, "If you beat Xander Zayas, then stop whispering through interviews and say my name."
Continues to rise now. Should the pound-for-pound king come out of retirement? undefeated 5-division champion, 3-division undisputed champion, first ballot Hall of Famer, the greatest fighter of his generation, his era, Terence Bud Crawford, 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. Should Terence Crawford, at 38 years of age, he'll be 39 in September, should Terence Bud Crawford come out of retirement and compete against the Phenom, as I refer to him as, former lineal unified WBA, IBF, Ring Magazine, welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, who is undefeated, 35 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout, Jaron.
And suddenly, the entire boxing world got uncomfortable. Because the strange thing about Terence Crawford is this. The man has spent his entire career treating danger like it's entertainment. Most fighters negotiate risk carefully. Crawford negotiates risk like somebody dared him to do something reckless years ago, and he never emotionally recovered from it. He moved through divisions, collecting world titles like trophies. Lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight, junior middleweight, and eventually it stopped feeling normal because every division ended the same way. Opponents talked confidently before the fight. Then Crawford adjusted midway through and completely took them apart. When the Boots Ennis conversation exploded again, Crawford didn't sound like somebody avoiding challenge. He sounded annoyed that people keep pretending he's hiding from a fire while he's literally standing inside the flames roasting marshmallows. And what makes this even crazier is the timing. This wasn't some stage press conference with fake drama and forced tension. It happened naturally during one of those chaotic boxing discussions where everybody talks over each other at the same time like a family argument during Thanksgiving dinner.
Who they are cancel out each other as far as height. You know, they both switch hitters, lift, and everything. All of that cancels out each other. So they are literally the same people pretty much. The only difference is Crawford done been in the big stage against big fighters so many times. And also with age, he didn't beat up his body, so his age is actually good. He got the grown man strength. He not just grown man strength, but he built on top of that. Like look at him at 135. He was a little scrawny dude. He wasn't a big dude. Now look at him. He ripped up everything. He's strong. So sure. I feel like he got everything, all the experience, all the knowledge. So I gotta go with Crawford.
Somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Crawford clearly got tired of hearing people dance around his name. Then came the line that lit gasoline on the situation that he basically told Boots, if you really want this fight, stop sending messages through interviews and podcasts. Put my name on the billboard. That's what changed the energy completely. Whether people love Crawford or hate him, almost everybody inside boxing agrees on one thing. The man is genuinely competitive. Not fake competitive like athletes posting motivational quotes after losing. Real competitive. The kind where criticism actually bothers him enough to take dangerous fights just to silence people. And that's why this conversation matters.
And my thing is, if you felt this strongly about the Omaha Nightmare, aka Jaron Boots Ennis, why didn't you send the offer to Boots Ennis after you whooped Canelo ass? I'm just asking. You the A side now. But get this. You could have sent Boots an offer to go to 160, 168. You are the A side now. And respectfully, you are bored. Yeah, you sleeping at fights, gang. And let's be real. You owe the fans a reign as the face of boxing. I've already given you that title if you
So why risk all of that against a dangerous younger fighter from Philadelphia? Because Terence Crawford genuinely seems addicted to proving people wrong. That's what separates him from most elite fighters. Eventually, many champions become businessmen first and fighters second. Crawford still thinks like the overlooked kid from Omaha who takes every ounce of doubt personally. And once people started saying Boots was the future while Bud was avoiding him, you could almost feel Crawford getting irritated by it. That leaked phone call only added more fuel to the fire because it reminded everybody this fight was never just fantasy matchmaking created by fans online. Conversations about Crawford versus Ennis actually happened behind the scenes. People act like the fight was impossible, but reality is much messier than that. Crawford already fought under BLK Prime before and reportedly made massive money doing it. So when rumors surfaced that there was interest in paying him even more to fight Boots, it didn't sound completely unrealistic. To be fair though, context matters at that time. Boots Ennis was still developing. Dangerous, explosive, talented, absolutely terrifying for the division, but still growing. Throwing a young Boots into the ring with Crawford back then was basically like giving a rookie driver a Formula One car during a thunderstorm and saying, good luck. Even Boots fans understood that.
The boxing pundits and the public had to match you up with a Terence Crawford, right? Who was at the top of the game right now, because they couldn't see anybody else that could compete with him. So did you take that as a compliment?
When I was coming, I really wasn't too worried about who was this, who was that. Like,
you was focused on what you was trying to do.
I know my task in hand. My task in hand was coming up at that time. I was fighting at 47, so my task in hand was being undisputed. You know, and these guys was playing around a little bit, so you know I didn't get to become undisputed, but I was able to become unified, you know, lineal champion at 47. So that was you know good enough for me.
Is that frustrating to you?
At welterweight, Crawford looked like the final boss of boxing that he stopped Errol Spence Jr., a fighter many believed was unbeatable. Before that, he dismantled champions with completely different styles. Southpaws, pressure fighters, slick boxers, counterpunchers, it never seemed to matter. Crawford adapts faster than opponents can think. So when Boots' team reportedly chose a different direction at the time, many people saw it as smart career management instead of fear. But here's why Crawford supporters get frustrated.
That point in his career where people are saying like, all right, he's got to fight somebody now. But at the end of the day, like, Boots is a talented fighter, but you guys got to understand Crawford has already done it all. You know, you don't want to put Boots, you know, who has so much potential and a bright future in the ring with a guy like Terence Crawford. It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense because Crawford was honestly like, let this kid be great. Don't put him in there with me because you're not going to get out of there alive. You know, I'm going to handle that business and retire the kid before he even gets his chance. So that's why Crawford is saying, dude, just stay away.
And then there's the Philly factor. Philadelphia treats boxing like religion mixed with organized chaos. Fighters from Philly carry the city with pride, and naturally people around Boots are going to defend him aggressively. Hat loyalty is normal. But Crawford supporters keep repeating the same thing. This is a fighter who has spent over 15 years as a professional without turning down dangerous opponents according to his own words. And honestly, his career mostly backs that up. Crawford consistently moved toward danger instead of away from it. That's why the Crawford versus Ennis storyline refuses to disappear. Stylistically, it feels like one of those matchups fans would debate for decades. The experienced master against the younger destroyer. Patience versus explosiveness. Precision versus pressure. Experience versus hunger. And now Crawford is publicly daring Boots to make it official if Boots beats Xander Zayas and directly calls Crawford out afterward. The pressure becomes enormous. Suddenly, this is no longer fantasy matchmaking inside YouTube comments. Suddenly, the demand becomes real.
What do you think about that chatter about them actually, if they ever were to fight?
Crawford is a man. You know, he showed it, you know, throughout his career, and then moving up to super middleweight and did what he did with Canelo, showed that he's the best in the world, one of the best of all times. He doesn't need to prove anything else, man. He could take care of business. He could beat most of the guys out there right now in boxing. But I think he's defending himself. He knows how to defend himself. He knows how to talk. But I don't see him getting back in the ring. I don't see him even doing it just to shut somebody up. I think he's...
And here's what makes the entire situation so fascinating. There's a strong argument that Crawford would actually take the fight if the money and timing were right. Not because it's safe, not because it's the smartest business decision, but because Crawford seems emotionally driven by proving superiority. Elite competitors operate differently. Doubt becomes motivation. Criticism becomes fuel. The more people accuse Crawford of avoiding Boots, the more likely he might feel the urge to personally destroy that narrative. Calling Terence Crawford scared sounds ridiculous to people who watched his career unfold. But Boots doesn't fight like somebody intimidated either. He fights like a man who genuinely believes he belongs at the top already. And boxing history is filled with legends who looked untouchable until the next generation finally caught them.
It's in a fight that stylistically would be, oh my goodness, is a fight between Terence Crawford and Jaron Boots Ennis.
I don't think I think that's going backwards for Terence.
To that point, Jaron doesn't have the kind of accolades. He doesn't sell to the mass and all these. So this fight was perfect timing for both these guys.
It's exactly what happened against Errol Spence Jr. People debated that fight for years. Entire YouTube channels were built around Spence versus Crawford discussions. Then the fight finally happened, and Crawford looked like he had cheat codes activated. That performance changed how boxing talks about him historically. The conversation shifted from, is Bud elite? To, where does Bud rank all time? And honestly, some of the criticism Crawford still receives feels bizarre. You'd think the man spent his career fighting random Uber drivers behind gas stations instead of becoming a multi-division champion. Yet at this point, Crawford's name gets mentioned alongside legends like Floyd Mayweather Jr., Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy Jones Jr., and even Muhammad Ali. Whether people agree with those comparisons or not, the fact that his name even enters those conversations says everything that a kid from Omaha fought his way into boxing immortality discussions, and people still act like he owes the internet 12 more miracles before breakfast.
He dominated Errol Spence. I thought he was crazy for getting in that ring and going against Canelo 3 weight classes up. He beat the shit out of Canelo. What y'all think we gonna do to Boots, man? Listen, I like Boots. I think the boy got talent. I think he a top 5, top 10 talent in boxing right now. But they all look like that before they stand in front of Terence Crawford. Y'all gonna make us hop in this ring and put a halt to this boy's career. Trying to let him have a promising career. But we gonna turn that boy into AB.
Meanwhile, Boots Ennis is trying to build his own legacy while carrying impossible expectations, but that's the downside of being labeled the next one. Fans stop treating you like a developing fighter and start treating you like a superhero before the movie even comes out. And now, because Crawford publicly challenged him to say the name directly, every future Boots interview is going to feel awkward until he addresses it. That's the genius of Crawford's move. He flipped the pressure completely. Instead of defending himself against accusations, he pushed the spotlight onto Boots. Oh, you want the fight? Then say it clearly. And honestly, boxing needs more of this energy, not fake screaming matches designed for social media clips. Real competitive tension, real pride, real risk. Because at its core, this isn't just about a fight. It's about whether the young lion is truly ready to take over or whether the old lion still rules the